are clearly discussed in the whole Quran. There are several verses describes language issues starting from the origin, diversity, and the ethics of using languages. We can read from chapter number 2, verse 31 to 33. This was a discussion between Allah, angel, and Adam. There is where we start learning that language has been the blessings for Allah to mankind. And Adam, who represents mankind, was taught names of everything in the world. The verse is long, just to give you a verse and you can read. But according to Ibn Abbas, has described this verse as that names that people use, such as conference, the word conference, hall, microphone, lake, and so on, includes the names of other species. Represents language. This means, therefore, the idea that God taught Adam the names of all things, in that God taught Adam a language that is used to describe all existing things. That is the essence of that verse. Furthermore, the Quran expresses that it is God who taught mankind to speak, and stated in the Quran. You can read Surah Al-Rahman, chapter 55, verse 1 up to 4. The focus is on verse number 4. Alamahul Bayan, he who taught speech. It's God who taught speech. He created us and he taught us speech. So here we see that the language we use today was taught by God. Now this work presents the survey of moribund minority languages along the coast of Lake Tanganyika, resulting from the influence of Islamic civilization. And it is recorded that native languages such as Ibwali, Goma, we say Kigoma, but it originally Goma people, Goma, Zinza, Bemba, Nyakaramba, Tongwe, and the other tribes or languages, just to mention few, were widely spoken all along the coast of Lake Tanganyika centuries before colonialism. It was found that these languages were exposed to danger following thriving of Islam, where Arabic and Swahili became liturgical languages, languages which are used in religious issues. Sociolinguistic situation in Ujiji. Ujiji is used in this work as a description of the town along Lake Tanganyika, representing what is today known as Kigoma region. It is located along the coast of Lake Tanganyika at the northwest bend of Tanzania. The region shares boundaries with the Burundi Kagera region to the north, Shinyanga region to the east, Democratic Republic of Congo to the west, to the east, while to the south part is Rukwa region. This region covers the total area of 4,566 square kilometers. This is according to the United Republic of Tanzania. Now, through different periods of time, Ujiji, the town, let's say now Kigoma region, has continuously been the heart of number of refugees from Burundi and the Democratic Republic of Congo, who came along with them different languages. The region is marked by her language, that it takes number 3 in the country for having many speakers, after Skuma number 1 and Kiswahili number 2. So her is number 3 by having many number of speakers in the country. What does moribund language mean? When a language lacks children who are learning languages, we say this language is moribund. It is signaled it is a signaled the potential risk. It is in the risk of extinction. A language which is in the risk of extinction is called moribund. So you see, the languages that I have mentioned here in my in the slides before, I have mentioned many of them, but all of them are no more spoken today. In other words, yeah, I have said. Now, according to UNESCO, you can count out of 6,000 languages spoken across the globe, you see half of them are disappearing. Oh, your time is now running marathon. Okay, you can count these languages. There are more than 18 languages, but all these more than 18 languages are what we call today, we call them as, Manyema. They belong to the so-called Manyema. And today, these people who belong to these ethnic groups, they introduce themselves as Manyema, but they have their own ethnic groups. When they are outside Ujiji, Kigoma, they call them Manyema, but they have their own ethnic groups. Now, Manyema are originally from Congo, though today they don't want to be labeled as diaspora. They don't want to hear this label as diaspora. They think that descendants of Tanzania. Okay, Islam and the civilization. You can see the coming of Arabs to Ujiji some years past before 1830s. And after there, in 1840s, there was the increase of Arabs coming to Ujiji and made partnership with traders in so-called coast caravans. This relationship and the coming of Arabs consolidated the establishment of Islamic civilization in Ujiji. As the number of Arab merchants grown up, then intruded more deeply within the local community. The influence of coastal traders entered Islam, entrenched Islam more in Ujiji, and made the conversion of many people to take place. You could see many families having madrasa at Ujiji, and people could come from interiors of Ujiji and the neighboring country from Burundi and the Democratic Republic of Congo. And it is recorded that the first Islamic teacher in Burundi got his education at Ujiji. We had madrasas, famous and known. These people from nearby countries were traveling from DRC, Burundi, to Ujiji, to Dar es Salaam and Zanzibar. So Ujiji was one of the center of religious learning. Methodology. And I use correlation and non-experimental research design and use snowball sampling because these people are few and not easy to get them. So I use snowball sampling to get these people, and I got 5 of them who could these languages. The course of Lake Tanganyika is in naming system. Today you see most of our names are related to Arabic or Islamic names. I am called Sadiq, but this is, I hope you know, it is Swadikul Amin. It is from Swadikul Amin, but I'm called Sadiq. So you see, there is the use of this foreign language, Arabic, into our naming system. But the whole naming system of our tradition died. So we adopted the new way of which languages had to be used. Changes in traditional festivals and the celebration, cultural festivals were changed, like Kamlewalewa. These are names of festivals that were once used by these ethnic groups, dress code, and so on. Now, all these shift requires adoption of different structure of linguistic codes. We had to adopt the linguistic code so as to fit this new dress code, naming system, celebration, and so on. And the second is Islamic education and the languages. Since development of language depends on domains of use, one can see how much Arabic was needed in everyday life of Muslims. Now, here, Kiswahili comes in. Kiswahili is associated with Islam in Tanzania in the past and somehow today. If you are Muslim, you are likely associated with Islam, particularly people living at the coast. Now, Arabic was used in Islamic teaching and Swahili was used for translation. And this encouraged young men to learn Arabic. You can witness today, every person coming from Ujiji, Kigoma, was much known that a speaker of Arabic. That was what was known. It was because of the influence of religious people left their mother tongue and adopted Arabic and Swahili. As Islam continued to grow, young people slowly started abandoning their native languages in favor of Arabic and Kiswahili language. Until colonial time, minority languages along the coast had lost speakers to a large extent. Conclusion. Yes. Now, this is not a new phenomenon. Moribund languages is not a new phenomenon. We are losing languages every decade. New languages die. So, moribunds of this indigenous language along the coast of Lake Tanganyika is not a new phenomenon. We will experience this, and there is a time we'll have a few languages spoken in the world. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brother Feruzi. And you can have a seat. Brother Msama, you can take a lead in Q&A session. Or we are going to have the second presentation before this one. Yes.
It's better to go to the second presentation. Brother Feruzi, you have a seat right now.
Yeah. So the second presentation is going to be made by our senior lecturer, Dr. Walusimbi Abdul Hafidh. He is from the Islamic University in Uganda, and he will be making a presentation on the topic which says the role of GPT 3.5 in issuing fatwas on Muslim family law. But before welcoming him on the stage, I would like to mention something about him. Dr. Walusimbi Abdul Hafidh is a senior lecturer at the Islamic University in Uganda, and he is a holder of BA, MA, and PhD in Sharia. He is also holding MBA in project management. He is also having a diploma in law. He is an expert in Sharia, and he is also a Sharia consultant. On top of that, Dr. Walusimbi is a IIIT facilitator on Maqasid Sharia. He is also a director of Al-Haq Sharia Advisory and Consultancy Bureau. Also, he is a director of Sharia and Legal Affairs, Office of the Supreme Mufti. Welcome on the stage, and the floor is yours.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله ثم الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the interest of time, allow me to share with you my presentation this afternoon, which is about the role of GPT 3.5 in issuing fatwas on Muslim family law. This paper was co-authored by my colleague, who is known in this house, Dr. Mansab Mohsin Abdurrahman, and due to some challenges, he couldn't make it to this venue. In my introduction, when we talk about fatwa, we are looking at giving a legal ruling on a certain matter, on a particular case, in response to an inquiry that has been made, either by an individual or by a group. It is also important to know that issuing fatwa is a religious duty. But it is also important to know that issuance of fatwa is not for each and every person. That is why you see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has cautioned those who issue fatwa without knowledge. وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ. Don't respond, don't approach something that you do not have sufficient knowledge about. Because of the significance and the sensitivity of this matter, that is why this is a noble obligation that was taken on by the distinguished persons, starting by the prophets and messengers of Allah, alayhimu salatu wassalam. We know it very well as Muslims that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam was the Grand Mufti. And from time and again, companions could come to him asking, and that's why in the message of Quran you find وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ, and they seek to know about this, about that, and the Prophet could actually give responses to that. You also know that I'm wondering whether this is, what is it? Okay, thank you. It is also important to look at the historical development. When we look at the historical development of fatwa, we look at two situations. The first one is the classical. And under the classical, we see the human intervention. We see the human involvement in issues of fatwa. The Prophet could give fatwas, so are the companions, and even you know it very well, the schools of thought, the likes of Imam Abu Hanifa and others. Also, at a later stage, people started sending their questions to destinations where they have trust that they can get Islamic responses. And that one actually gave rise to the importation of fatwa. As you are aware, it is now one of the challenges that our communities are facing. That you are in Tanzania and you have a certain social issue, and then you want to write to a mufti in Saudi Arabia who actually doesn't know what are the social dynamics of Muslims in Tanzania. So it traces its origin from that background. Now, as time passed on, we have another trend in the issues of fatwas, the contemporary, whereby, as we talk now, it started by the establishment of Darul Iftar, and you know they also have their different methodologies. For instance, the methodology that is used by Al-Lajna Da'ima of the Saudi Arabia is not necessarily the methodology and the approach that is used by Darul Iftar of Egypt. Then, as we talk now, we have fatwa apps that an institution like the Muslim University of Morogoro can have a committee of muftis, and then they make an online app whereby people can post questions, and then the muftis can actually answer to those questions. As we talk now, you all know the impact of artificial intelligence, and it is from that background that now we talk about the GPT 3.5. What is my problem statement? Technology has come at a time where we actually need it. It has facilitated, it has simplified our lives. It is time that we explore the opportunity of technology by integrating it into our various aspects of lives. But one thing that the audience shouldn't forget, that as we appreciate it, it is also coming with certain challenges and shortcomings. On the topic that I'm presenting, the question is, to what extent are the fatwas issued by GPT 3.5, to what extent are they appropriate? To what extent are they reliable? Given the fact that the topic which I chose, it is touching family law, and you know that family law is so practical, and it is so comprehensive. It touches all of us, either as a father, as a mother, as a sister, or any other category. Now, why did I choose GPT 3.5? When you look at that app, you'll find out that it has a very extensive coverage. It has 100+ million users. And the website sees almost 1.5 billion visitors per month. It also has a capacity to process questions very quickly. And it also has the translation capacity. That is actually the justification why we chose that. Now let me take you to the findings. In our methodology, we tested this app by just getting 3 sample questions. One question was in marriage, the second was on divorce, and the third was on inheritance. So we asked Sheikh GPT, is it allowed for Muslims to marry Christians and Jews? What is the fatwa? It is generally allowed. But some of the key aspects, because I wouldn't like to bring all the fatwa as it is, I just wanted to pick some key responses. It says that partners shouldn't be compelled to change their faith. And that seems to be okay because of the principle of Islam of la ikraha fi din. But where I have a concern with it, it continues to elaborate that the faith of the children, it is a matter of discussion. In other words, children can actually choose of which of the religions they can take, whether Christianity or Islam. And then at the end of the day, it says that, but you can refer to the local laws around for guidance. That is now the mufti. Now, in our validation, in that column of validation, we try to look at to what extent is this fatwa correct. Some of the issues that come out, one, it has a generalized answer. It does not talk about whether it is a Muslim man marrying a non-Muslim woman or the opposite. Yet you know it very well that much as Suratul Ma'idah provides for that concessionary rule whereby a Muslim man may marry a sister from the people of the book, it is clear that a Muslim sister is not allowed to marry a non-Muslim, no matter what kind of a sect. La hunna hillu lahum wa la hum yahilluna lahun. That is the foundation laid in Surah Al-Mumtahina. The other concern in that fatwa is that it does not take into consideration the jurisprudence of the questioner. the analysis of who is asking. Yet you know that on such a question, actually, when you go to the classical books of Islamic law, you'll find out that it is on record that Umar had an exchange with Hudhaifa when Hudhaifa married a Jewish lady, and Umar said, "Talliqha, please, you must divorce her." And at the end of the day, Hudhaifa was, "Ahiya haramun, but is she prohibited on me?" And Umar insisted that, "Talliqha." At the end of the day, Umar's approach was, a person like you who is taking public leadership, you can't do that despite the presence of the allowance, because you shall be setting a bad example to the followers. Not only that, but you also find out that Imam al-Hasan al-Basri also asks, that person who wants to marry a woman from the people of the book, where does he live? Don't we have the abundance of the Muslim sisters? And he says, in the abundance of the Muslim sisters, it's not allowed. So GPT 3.5 does not take care of all those. And also, actually, the issue concerning the faith of the children. On this note, the GPT 3.5, it is wrong. Because scholars have actually made it clear that in such a situation, al-waladu yatba'u khayra al-abawayni fi dini wa nasab. A child who comes between two parents, if one of them is free and the other one is a slave, the child shall be inclined towards what is more beneficial. If one of them is a Muslim and another one is not Muslim, the child shall be inclining towards the religion of Islam, because وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. Let's look at sample question number 2. We asked the Sheikh, what is the Islamic rule on divorce for women in the menstrual cycles? The Sheikh says it is generally allowed, and then he goes on to explain on Idda period. Of course, that is wrong. There is clear precedent that we are not allowed to divorce women in their state of menses. And you know the precedence of the hadith whereby Ibn Umar, radiyallahu anhu, when he divorced his wife in a state of mens, and the Prophet told Umar, tell him that he should reunite with her, then after that he can divorce when she is clean. Question number 3, we asked the Sheikh, is if a Muslim dies and is survived by the father and grandfather, and there is no any other heir, and his estate is around 100,000 Kenyan shillings, how will they inherit? The Sheikh replies that the matter of inheritance is guided by the Quran, and that is okay. But he says the father in this case is entitled to 1/6, and then the grandfather is entitled to the residuary. On validation, we find out that that is not correct, because the father excludes the grandfather because of the known principle of inheritance. Man tawassala biwasita hajabatuhu tilka alwasita. Any person who links himself to uninherited legal heir, that legal heir excludes him. So, as I sum up, what are the results? What technology shall definitely miss? We are chanting the use of technology, which is okay. But in our own analysis and discussion, technology shall miss 2 fundamental issues. 1, jurisprudence of the questioner. Sometimes it is referred to as the audience analysis. Who is asking? Yet you know that it is on record that the Prophet ﷺ used to give different answers to different people on the same question. You know, in a situation whereby one young man came and asked, can I kiss my wife when I am observing fasting? And he said, no. Then the other one came and he said, it is more like rinsing water into your mouth. And it's the same question, but due to the analysis of the questioner, you could see that the answer might be different. Allow me, in the interest of time, just to share with you one model of analyzing the questioner. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal who is well known as a celebrated Imam of the Sunnah, he was asked by a young lady. The lady comes and says, Ya ayyuhal imam, or the imam, inna naghzilu as-suf aw al-ghazal tahta aw fawqa as-sath. We get out at night to stitch the sweaters on the verandas of our homes. And at night, they're using the moonlight. Then she says, وَيَأْتِينَا مَشَاعِرُ السُّلْطَانِ. Then the king sends these people who move around in order to see the state of affairs, and they have such strong torches with strong lights. Then the young lady asks, هل يجوز لنا أن نغزل الصوف مستخدما مشاعل السلطان? Is it allowed for us to benefit from the light of the torches of this king, the king's soldiers, so that we can continue stitching our clothes? In another way, you have lost your money and you are using the moonlight to trace it. Then someone is driving a car and you want to take advantage of the light. Is it allowed? Is it allowed? The answer could be, oh yes. But look at the questioner's analysis. Imam Ahmad asks, Man anti afakillah. But who are you who is asking? The young lady says, Ana binti Bishr al-Hafi. I am a daughter of a certain man known as Bishr al-Hafi. Al-Hafi means the one who moves barefooted. Because Bishr al-Hafi is known for his honesty and high integrity, Imam Ahmad says, no, a person like you shouldn't benefit from that light because min baytikum kharaj al-wara. Your house is the source of fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is about the jurisprudence of understanding the questioner. And that is something that technology shall never take recognition of. The second is the time-space dimension. The students of Sharia know that one of the principles of Sharia, لا ينكر تغير الأحكام بتغير الأزمان. The rulings can differ depending on the times. So, when you ask such artificial intelligence apps, it does not take into consideration of that. The jurisprudence of reality, priority, minority, among others. You know that Imam al-Qardawi in his book, Fiqhul Aqalliyat, he studied the cases of Muslims living in Europe. And he handled some matters like mortgage, among others. And he allowed them even if they carry some elements of interest. Now, some people took that complaint to Imam Ibn al-Baz and said, look at this. The man is allowing interest in such a situation. I heard that at one moment Ibn al-Baz met al-Qardawi in Mecca. And Qardawi explained his background of allowing such, depending on the time-space dimension. And it seems that Ibn Baz agreed with him. What's the conclusion? The conclusion is we need to caution ourselves on the use of artificial intelligence in issuance of fatwa, and there is necessity for human presence in the issuance of fatwa. That presence is indispensable. Whether you want it or not, we still need a human being behind so that he can appreciate all that I have talked about. And in the recommendation, continuous research is needed on the impact of technology on other fields of Sharia. And I think we can also resolve that Muslim universities can establish Darul Iftar so that they can handle some issues of Sharia in the light of contemporary times, and also putting into consideration the time-space dispensation. I thank you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So now we are going to the last presentation, and this is going to be delivered by Mr. Fadhili Mtani, and the topic says, From Lamu to Bagamoyo, Tracing the Maulid Networks, Roots and Gatherings in the Spread of Islam in East Africa during the 20th century. So yeah, it's about Maulid, yeah? So now, before welcoming Brother Mtani on the stage, let me introduce him a little bit. Brother Mtani is a lecturer at the Department of History, Muslim University of Morogoro. He has actually published 5 articles and authored 2 books, which are Philosophy of History, Introduction to the History of North Africa. His areas of interest are history, civilization studies, Sufism, intellectual thought, philosophy, as well as integration of knowledge. The stage is yours, but be sure that you need to not to spend so much time. Take a turn.
Brother Mtani, only 10 minutes, please. Because
10 minutes.
we cannot give you much time as chef before, okay?
I will, Assalamu alaikum. I will have to defy that order because I'm the chair and the man responsible for this conference. Alhamdulillah al-hadi ila sabili rashadi wa salatu wa salamu ala khayri al-ibadi wa ala ali al-ahfadhi al-amjadi. As I was introduced, I'm going to present this paper, and when the topic was mentioned, everyone laughed. Okay, the idea about this paper is when I traveled to Kilwa early this year, it was January, and when I went there, I saw a group of people were coming to Kilwa, Kiswani, for Maulid celebration, and these people were from part of Mozambique and Mombasa. So it came to me, to my mind, that if they are kind of these networks gathering and roots in East Africa, in our contemporary, what about in the late 19th and the 20th century? However, because of my busy with preparation, I gave my paper to my student. I told him that you have to read and prepare the slides. So he's going to present. I would like to welcome one of my best students to present for me. Mr. Magwegwe, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين ودنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Let me firstly say how happy I am to be with you, to be before the audience of which is being constituted by most of the people from different parts of the world, and actually from the constraint of Tanzania and from outside of Tanzania and Africa at large, and I'm glad for that. Secondly, if you would allow me to extend my thanks to Mr. Fadhili Mtani for trusting me to present this paper. Although, my level isn't much this dance, but inshallah, I will try. Thank you very much, Mr. Mtani. And my name is Magwego Bernard Makongo, a 2023 graduate student from Muslim University of Morogoro, from the Bachelor Degree of Arts with Education in English and History. Yes, so let me go directly to the presentation. The paper is constituted its title as it was seen that from Lamu to Bagamoyo, tracing the Maulid networks, roads, and gatherings in the spread of Islam in East Africa during the 20th century. So in the part of introduction, it's important to note the inception of Islam in Africa, you know, because this is a very critical issue that despite of being debated by many scholars that when exactly Islam entered in East Africa particularly, there are those who are saying that it was 7th century and some in 9th century, but the most agreeable date and century is 7th date, and I think this is not the concern of this paper. And the most important thing is about the concept of Maulid itself. So if you would ask yourself about Maulid, and I think, and this is very true, that you are familiar with the concept here. Maulid, as you would refer to call it, is celebrations of the birth of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, which is the last prophet in the Muslim Ummah, and is being celebrated by the most of the Muslim community, Muslim Ummah from different parts of the world. And as far as the paper is concerned, the title of the paper is concerned, is from you know, East Africa, and it is being celebrated in the 12th day of the third month of Islamic calendar, which is called Rabiul Awwal, and you know, that is very clear. And coming to another thing which is also extremely important, when did it started exactly? Tracing the history of Maulid, particularly in East Africa, you know, started in during the 12th century, during the time of the Swahili Shirazi dynasty. You know, during that time there was a dynasty called Shirazi, and among the Shirazi rulers was called Uthman bin Uthman, who ruled Zanzibar from 1154 to 1212 years. And let's go to the next slide. And you would wonder, or you would ask yourself that, you know, what is being entailed exactly in this commemoration of Maulid?
4 minutes to time.
Subhanallah. I think I have a stopwatch, mister, so I think I have some enough time here. Continuing to explain about the activities that are being entailed in these celebrations, there are poem recitation, Quranic recitation, there is a donkey race, you know, the race, and many other activities of which I will refer to them to my findings. The other thing which is also important is about tracing the, you know, root of Islam in 20th century. That in the late 19th and early in the 20th century witnessed a remarkable resurgence of Islamic favor in East Africa, a region with, you know, a rich and diversity Muslim heritage from coast to interior. And at the heart of this revival were the Maulid network, which played a pivotal role in spreading Islamic teachings and fostering a sense of community among Muslims across the regions. Now, you know, we have to recognize that the argument of this paper is centered on the fact that you know, it seeks to investigate how Maulid network route and gathering has, you know, have contributed to the spread or, you know, the dissemination of Islam in East Africa during the 20th century. And the problem statement is that is being predicated from the ongoing debate among, you know, Muslim scholars who are daily arguing on the legality of Maulid, that whether Maulid is halal or is, you know, haram, and some do call it bid'ah. So despite of being so, this paper seeks to investigate the contextual viewpoint of Maulid. Yes, that it has been ignored, and when trying to address the question of Maulid, most of them do focus on the legality, the content of Maulid itself. The objective is to explore how did Maulid networks, roots and gatherings have contributed to dissemination of Islam in East Africa during the 20th century. The methodology which has been employed include, historical analysis, ethnographic fieldwork, oral histories, and archival researches. Now let's come to the findings of this paper that I've grouped them into 3 groups concerning the concepts I've mentioned earlier. That the networks, maybe I should give you what are Maulid networks. The Maulid networks was the Muslim group, the Muslim teachers and preachers who traveled to different parts of East African coast to celebrate Maulid. And among the leading scholars who have been played part in disseminating Islam through the celebration of Maulid is Habib Saleh, who is come from Lam. I think you would recall, and other, as you can just see, Abdurrahman, Sumaid, and many more. And now let's go directly to the findings that have been founded to concerning the network. We have come to find that schools and madrasas have been built as a result of Maulid, and also Maulid networks has strengthened teachings of Islam due to the practices I've mentioned earlier. Quran is being recited there, poem, and Islamic teachings are also being disseminated through the commemoration. Also promoting literacy, promoting social welfare and economic development, and most importantly, it has fostered a sense of community and belonging among Muslims in East Africa. Yes. Now, let's come to the findings that have been founded on the aspect.
We have added we started to count your time when the chair of the intellectual desk started to speak, and that's why our stopwatch is forward.
Thank you very much.
Please take your own time. We don't have much time to, so we give you 1 minute bonus. Thank you.
I've got it right. Thank you. Now to the roots, as you can just see, I've tried to indicate how these networks traveled to different parts of East African coast. There was, if you can just see, above there in the north is Lamu. That's where Lamu is found, and this it has been termed by Cressy as one of the literature review that have been passed through, that most of the people from Mozambique, from Ujiji, traveled from there to Lamu to celebrate for Maulid, and during the 20th century it has been regarded as small Hajj due to the fact that different activities have been carried out in there. So there are also routes from Tanga, from Zanzibar, all of them, and these movements were back and forth movements that it depends on the schedule, or the sheikh. They could decide that maybe this year we will celebrate Maulid in a particular place. Also, it has helped to strengthen ties between Muslims. It also spread Sufism in East Africa. Coming to the gatherings, as I've tried to show there, these among the gatherings, and these were the Muslim, the congregations which congregate purposely to, thank you. On the finds on gathering, dynamics of conversions and Islamizations, that individuals are being converted due to these Maulid celebrations. Also disseminating knowledge, promoting intercultural dialogue, Islamic identity, marriage, creating regional identities, as well as unity has been strengthened through Maulid. The recommendation, Maulid should be used as an avenue for unity, bridging the gaps between communities, strengthening brotherhood, etc. Maulid also should be used as an avenue for, intercultural and inter-sectarian dialogue. Also, Maulid should be as a source of contention between factions. Should not be a source of contention. Also, proper learning of Islamic festivities and ceremonies, due to the fact that there have been developed different activities which are being celebrated, and therefore we recommend accepting diversity and promote interfaith dialogue and understanding. I would like to leave you with a question to ponder while I'm moving out of the stage, and thank you very much. That marks the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. And,
okay, thank you so much. It seems that your speech started when you...
Not exactly.
Okay. But we thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. Yeah, you can go right now. Waiting for, because this is going to be the end and we don't have any other presentation. Okay. Thank you so much, dear participants. Now, this marks the end of our presentations today. So we have a very brief timetable. Number one, I will invite, after some times, few minutes later, I will invite the chairperson of Kitwana Kondo Intellectual Desk, who is Brother Fadhili Mtani, to give vote of thanks. But after that, I'll give only 3 minutes to Mr. Majid Mswahili, 3 minutes. And then I will invite Professor Mustafa Hamza Njozi to give as well a vote of thanks on behalf of Muslim University of Morogoro. And the last one is going to be Brother Dr. Aslach, who will also give us a closing remarks as coordinator of East Africa for IIIT. So, Brother Fadhili Mtani, wherever you are, please come here front. Maybe can I give you only a few seconds? Is it enough? Okay. Let me give you 1 minute. Okay, it's okay. Thank you. Karibu sana. Chair.
Assalamu alaikum. That's a bad thing of being an organizer. You don't have to talk much, but you have to walk underground. Dear esteemed participants, scholars, and guests, today we are concluding the International Islamic University Conference here, prompting reflections on our collective intellectual journey, exploring the theme that was presented to us. Now, I would like to extend my gratitude to the International Institute of Islamic Thought, USA, and Nairobi office, also the Muslim University and the organizing committee for their pivotal role in making this scholarly symphony. Our exploration of these 3 days have gone into the intricate interplay between tradition and modernity within Islamic intellectual thought. Our exploration on major trends on Islamic intellectual thoughts involve historical legacies and a contemporary challenge, enduring the legacy of Islamic scholarship from the golden age to the contemporary interaction. Our academic institution and the conferences play a major role in navigating these complex currents. The 5th International Islamic University Conference has been crucible for intellectual alchemy, where scholars converged and the ideas clashed here, and the perspectives were challenged and refined. We have seen Socratic dialogue, animated discussion, and the clashes of ideas defined our proceedings. In adhering to intellectual honesty, we confronted bias and blind spots, seeking deeper understanding of Islamic intellectual thought. The academic rigor exhibited by each participant exemplify our commitment to advancing collective knowledge. As we conclude, the impact of our collective endeavor extends beyond Morena Hotel. The relationship formed, ideas exchanged, and the challenges confronted will reverberate in this classroom, research institution, and the broader intellectual landscape. Expressing gratitude to the International Institute once again, the Muslim University of Morogoro, and the organizing committee. And here I would like to acknowledge the work done by Brother Abdul Hamid Slachi, Professor Hamza Njozi, and the entire team of the Kitwana Kondo Intellectual Desk, who have been working underground, yes, to make sure this event occur. We were honored to be given this opportunity, and we have delivered. In my spirit of inquiry, commitment to scholarly rigor, and a camaraderie forged during this conference inspire future for academic pursuit, disparting with lesson learned, connection made, and a profound insight gained. Each participant and every one of us played a role in advancing the narrative of Islamic intellectual thoughts. We promise that your paper submitted to us will be reviewed and edited, will be published. Some will be published as a conference proceeding, and those deemed suitable will be published in our upcoming journal that is going to be launched very soon. With this, thank you for unwavering commitment to knowledge. May our path cross again in future scholarly endeavor as we continue to navigate the ever-evolving current Islamic intellectual thought. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. The chairperson of Kitwana Kondo Intellectual Desk, Brother Fadhili Mtani. But now is the time for Brother Majid Mswahili, at least to have these few 3 minutes, inshallah, to have something, please. You are warmly welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Kwanza nimehemewa nilipopata fursa hii, nilipoambiwa kutakuwa na fursa ya kusema jambo walau kwa dakika 3, nimehemewa sana. Watu wenye tajiriba na kariba na ragba, ukwasi, jinsi na jinsia wa namna yenu, alafu mtu kama mimi mdogo wa kimo na umri kuitwa kuzungumza jambo lolote katika watu wa namna hii, si jambo linalofanana na mimi. Lakini hata hivyo nikasema nitajitahidi, walau shati bovu si mgongo wazi. Kwa hiyo nitajaribu kufanya kile ambacho nitajaliwa kukifanya. Kwa hiyo nikubalieni niseme jambo la shukurani mbele yenu, na mnisamee kila ambacho nitakuwa nimepotoka, na sifanyi hivyo kwa makusudi, lakini itakuwa kwa sababu tu ya umri wangu mdogo na maarifa yangu machache. Natoa shukrani za dhati kabisa kwa TAASISI. Jambo hili ambalo wamelifanya na kutupa sisi wenyeji hapa Chuo Kikuu cha Waislamu Morogoro ni jambo la kushukuru sana, kwa sababu wangeamua kufanya mahala popote, hawakuwa na ulazima wote kutuletea hapa, lakini kwa mapenzi yao kwetu wameamua hili jambo kulileta Chuo Kikuu cha Waislamu Morogoro, na sisi tumelichukua kwa heshima kubwa. Mmetupa thamani kubwa, na kwa hakika tunajiona tuna deni kubwa la kulipa TAASISI, na kwa hakika tuko tayari kuendelea kutumikia na kutumwa na TAASISI katika mambo mengine yote. Hili ni jambo moja, lakini mambo mengine makubwa tuko tayari kutumikia. Lakini wa pili ni washukuru pia Chuo Kikuu cha Waislamu Morogoro kukubali kuwa pamoja na mambo mengi, ratiba ngumu na kadhalika, lakini kukubali kupokea shughuli hii, mkutano huu muhimu kwa watu hawa aushi kabisa katika mkutano huu, na tumefanya shughuli hii kwa siku 3 mtawalia. Si jambo dogo kusema kweli, ni jambo kubwa, na tunawashukuru sana viongozi wa Chuo Kikuu cha Waislamu Morogoro. Naona Profesa Njozi yuko hapa, mzee wetu, kwa niaba ya uongozi mzima. Sisi tunashukuru sana kwa kutupokea. Lakini Kitwana Kondo, dawati la Kitwana Kondo, mwenyekiti brother Fadhili Mtani na wengine wote ambao walikuwa wakitoa jasho usiku na mchana. Wakati mwingine huwezi kuona katika jicho la kawaida, lakini najua kuna wakati mlipunguza muda wa kulala. Haya mambo ambayo tunayaona hapa yametokea kwa uzuri, yametokea. Kwa hiyo Mwenyezi Mungu aendelee kukulipeni, lakini kukupeni nguvu zaidi katika mambo haya, siku za usoni yawe makubwa zaidi. Wawasilishaji wote wa makala waliofanya hivyo, lakini washiriki wote kutoka nje, kuna wenzetu kutoka Uganda, Sudani, Kenya, nje kabisa ya Afrika, Marekani huko na maeneo mengine yote, kwa kuja kwenu tunakushukuruni sana sana, na mmetupa heshima kubwa sisi jumuiya ya Chuo Kikuu cha Waislamu Morogoro. Na mwisho kabisa, sisi wote ambao tumeshiriki hapa sasa, kwa sababu ya kuchelea kuharibu, unajua wakati mwingine unaweza ukapewa nafasi, jambo limekwenda vizuri, limeshazungumzwa vizuri, ukapewa nafasi ya kutoa shukrani ukajikuta umeharibu. Ni kwa kuchelea kuharibu. Naomba nikukumbusheni maneno ya Shaban Suleiman Juma Ufukwe, Shaban Robert, kwa kumaliza mazungumzo yangu. Shaban Robert amesema, na bila shaka alikuwa anazungumza na TAASISI wakati huo, na nyinyi mnajua wataalamu kwamba Shaban Robert alizaliwa wakati mwingi, lakini alisema tungekosa kuwa nayo mapenzi katika moyo, dunia hii tulionayo ingesumbua wakazi. Tusihini walimwengu, mapenzi tumpe Mungu, naye atatupa fungu katika wake wenenzi. Tupendane wenyewe, tofauti tuondoe, amani tushukie, mapenzi tufanye ngazi. Asalamu alaykum.
Now I believe in words of Professor Hamza Mustafa Njozi from the first day, that he said that in these 3 days our friends from Uganda, from Nigeria, from Kenya, they are going to improve in Kiswahili, and that's why they were very good and they were very attentive listening to Kiswahili here now. Okay, now Professor Hamza Njozi, this is your time. Could you please?
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I would like to say what I wanted to say has already been said. I deliberately invited Mswahili, Abdul Majid Mswahili, to confirm my hypothesis. What will follow now, I will pick at random one brother or sister from Uganda to translate what Mswahili don't hold your breath, I will not do that. Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal. So let me very briefly repeat, to register, I want to register our sincere thanks to all of you participants for your decision to sacrifice your time, energy, and money and travel all the way from wherever you came especially our brothers and sisters from Kenya and Uganda and Zanzibar, and of course Nigeria, the longest possible distance. Another madam from the US who is here. All of you, I mean, for the sacrifices you made to come to this 5th international conference. So we thank you so much. But we also, as Abdul Majid Mswahili said, we also thank IIIT for their support to these conferences, and to the organizing committee of Mr. Fadhili Mtani and his team for the work they have done for the past 3 days and even before that. And I would just like to take this opportunity to remind our colleagues from IUIU that normally after holding this conference here in, at Muslim University of Morogoro, they will have to take the baton and hold the 6th conference in Kampala. Yeah. Or Mbale, wherever you will decide. But of course, I suggest the menu beforehand. Matoke should be there, morning and afternoon. Thereafter, of course, Zanzibar, Sumaiti will follow, and then normally we put Kenya last, yeah, because they are our seniors, so they normally take the last position in. So now I know there are so many other things which will follow, including the issuing of certificates. So let me now take this time to invite the IIIT Regional Coordinator for East Africa, and this is none other than Brother Abdul Hamid Slach, to come and officially close this conference and then give certificates to the participants. Brother Slach, tafaddal.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. Respected sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A lot has been said, and I don't want to repeat. Maybe the master of ceremony, he's very quiet. He hasn't given me any time frame. So thank you very much. I will just make few remarks. I want to first and the foremost thank you all the participants for your patience and your continued sitting and listening for the last 3 days. I know it is very tiring because I am tired. You are tired also. Thank you very much for all your patience and participating and listening to the program very patiently. I hope we have been able to deliver the message which will benefit all of us slowly and surely, inshallah. I want to thank Brother Fadhili Mtani and his team for wonderful participation and in organizing this whole conference. It took them about 6 months to prepare all these things. And not to forget my elder here, Professor Hamza, who is always with us, guiding us and giving us support for this thing. Just a few remarks. This whole idea of holding International Islamic Universities conferences for East Africa was mooted in 2012 at Islamic University of Uganda, in Uganda. None other by than the Vice Chancellor or Director of that university, Dr. Ahmad Sagendo. We used to work with him, and we were having a conference there on issues about university education and the student movements. And then he realized and he said, there are so many Muslim universities just in the East Africa. Why can't we just reach out and talk to them and come together from time to time to share information and say we are brotherhood and whatever is doing. We don't want to interfere in anybody's affairs, but we just share information and work together. After that, in 2013, I reached out to Professor Hamza and we gave him the idea that this is what we are thinking. Alhamdulillah, he was very receptive. Immediately, he said, very good idea. So, he undertook to hold the first conference in August 2014 at the university. And I don't know those who have visited the university, there is a tent out there. We were under the tent for the 3 days. But that was the most successful conference. Just for your information, 650 participants attended that conference for the 3 days. It was a full house. Alhamdulillah. The next conference in 2016 was undertaken by Islamic University of Uganda in Kampala. Then 2019 was undertaken by Sumait University of Zanzibar. 2021 was undertaken by Ummah University, and because of the COVID, we could not hold the physical, but we held a virtual conference, alhamdulillah. Sorry. And now the 2023, you are all here. I am glad to inform you that our brothers from IUIU, they have given us the assurance that August 2025, they will welcome you to the 6th International Islamic University Conference at their campus in Kamboja, in Kampala, inshallah. I am very much happy because I like the campus at Kamboja. I want people to visit that campus because that is the only Muslim university's campus which is for the females. No other university has a female campus by itself, and that's a very good. The last time I visited, I think there are more than 1,000 sisters undergoing with their education system in that Kamboja campus. Jazakallah khair, IUIU. So, with those few remarks and saying thank you very much, Jazakallah khairan, I don't have much to say because it has already been said, but just to please my muzee here, Professor Hamza, I will say, Kwaheri ko onana, safari jema ko jumbani rudi jumbani sawa, inshallah.
Thank you so much. Professor Hamza Njozi, please hand over the gift to, because now has learned very good Kiswahili. Yeah. Also, please, Professor Msafiri, could you please stand up and come here front? Yes, you could just sit. Professor Msafiri. Professor Njozi, I think Professor Msafiri as well, he was one among those people who were very close to what you were saying at the first day, and that's why we have decided to give him, you know, sharp. This for him. Yeah. But you could test him if he knows Kiswahili. Professor, do you know? Unajua? Asante sana. Karibu sana, Prof. Okay, the last one is from Ummah University. This is for Dr. Halima, but it's going to be taken by Sister Dr. who? Stella. Dr. Stella. Dr. Stella, could you please come? When you come, please remember some of Kiswahili words, okay? maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, you see. Do you remember any word from Kiswahili? Mashallah, maybe yes. Huh? Anajua dada. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Stella, for your participation. Now it's a time for certificates. We'll start with presenters today. So we mentioned the names, and then we could request you to come here forward. The first one is Professor Elzain Abdullah Yusuf Ahmed. Professor Jamil Serwanga, get prepared. Yes, I call him Professor. Yes, I know. Dr. Walusimbi Sheikh Al-Hajj, get prepared. Okay. Dr. Mansab Mahsin will be taken by Dr. Walusimbi. Dr. Isa O Malesela, please. Malekela. Okay. It's not Malesela, it's Malekela. Dr. Saleh Muhammad Harun, get prepared. Dr. Jackson Wanjau, please. Dr. Jaha Mulema, please get prepared. This Jackson. Yeah. Dr. Jackson Wanjau. Dr. Saleh. Dr. Jaha Mulema. Dr. Rehema T. Kilagwa. Dr. Nawaje, get prepared. Dr. Jackson, imekuja mbili. Dr. Jackson Wanjao, imekuja certificate. Okay, Dr. Abdulsamad Diagenda. Prof. Sunus Iguda. Brother Sadiki Mosh Feruzi, get prepared. Brother Fadhili A. Mtani. Okay. Take a picture with. Brother Feruzi. Al-Habib Shamsuddin Bolatito, young Sheikh. Dr. Grace Muira Wainaina. Dr. Mary Musembi, get prepared. Dr. Omar Ramadan Omukaba. Dr. Anne Maguta. Brother Hamis Hamid Hamis. Brother Mchambuzi Abdullahi Kitota. Dr. Stella Migide Madete. Dr. Halima Wakabi from Uganda, right? She knows Kiswahili, alhamdulillah. Dr. Beatrice Kerei.
Stella.
Dr. Adan Ali Abdi. Ahmed Ara Lukinga. Brother, please.
Beatrice, okay. Adan Ali, is he around?
Dr. Joseph Mwai.
Is it for Adam?
Oh, you should take a picture. Joseph Mwai. Dr. Robert Mburunga.
Joseph Mwai.
Okay.
Joseph Mwai.
And Mburunga.
Ahmed Lukinga.
Dr. Kasozi Idrisa Sinani. Dr. Maimuna Nimulola Amina. Dr. Khiara H. Musa. Okay. Members of the committee will be given their certificates, inshallah, at office. And those who have presented 2 papers, they have their certificates here, maybe 2 papers, 1 for each. And all other participants, because of the time constraints, they will be sent electronic copy certificates, inshallah. And those who are nearby here at Morogoro, they will be given their hard copy certificates, inshallah. So we apologize for any inconvenience. And we know that you had so many questions reserved, but we should request you, your humbleness, so as to accept that this is going to be the end of our today's session. So Dr. Bilali, where is Dr. Bilali? Please come here. After dua, so we have group photo. The first one is going to be leaders, Muslim University of Morogoro and IIIT administrators. Sheikh Bilali, dua, please.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma ij'al jam'ana hadha jam'an marhuma wa tafarruqana min ba'dihi mutafarriqan mayadan masuma. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin ibn wa ala alihi wa sallam.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Thank you so much, Dr. Bilali. Now it's group photo. Yeah, we take all chairs there. Inshallah, we help you. Yeah, but this is closing day. Maybe could we have a closing day group photos? Professor, inshallah we take chairs there downstairs. Yeah. Tunakuwekeni hapa tafadhali. Professor, usipate shida huo, samahani. Professor, usiwe na wasiwasi. Yeah, so just so nakuja kwa presenters.
We start with the committee.
Tukae na committee kwanza. Okay, the committee. Committee, please. Group photo. Thank you, presenters. After presenters, all participants, males, thank you. Participants, men. Men. Evening tea, mashallah. After Salatul Asr, we will have evening tea together. Participants, all men, please, quickly. Sheikh. Thank you. Thank you. Participants, women, this is going to be the last group photo. Women, please. Quick. All participants, please. Please, we have time, please. kule mbele kuna nafasi nzuri tu. Mwenyewe huyo. Asante. Umejiongeza. Thank you so much. This marks the end of our 3-day conference.
Merci beaucoup.
MashaAllah. We wish you the best.
Thank you.
Inshallah. Professor Njozi, now this is the time for Salatul Asr for those who are here at Morogoro, and then after Salatul Asr we go for evening tea. Imam, our Imam right now is going to be Mr. Hassan.